how you got into building.
Sort of went from carpenter to builder, and it kind of all just happened.
And talk us through the structure of the team in the office.
In the office, we have our administration.
What type of projects do you mainly do?
Mainly, we do architectural new builds.
What margin are you quoting those at?
Fixed price.
How have you grown and developed as a leader over the last couple of years?
Getting better by the day.
What tools and resources have been most impactful so far for you?
We have recently started using
And what would you say to someone who's maybe stuck?
Ask the questions, be a sponge.
Where do you want to take the business? What's possible?
So,
welcome to the Builder's Ladder podcast, brought to you by the professional builder. I'm Marti, founder of TPB, and today we're here with Nick Avery from Avery Construction. How are you?
I'm well, Marty. How are you?
Awesome. So let's kick things off. I'd like to understand a little bit about where you're based, type of work you do, and how you got into building.
So we're based in Ocean Grove, Victoria, about an hour and a half south of Melbourne, in Australia, obviously.
Is that where the Great Ocean Road is?
Yes, correct.
That's got arguably the greatest motorcycling road in in the world, everyone says.
100%. Yeah, it's a beautiful road. Even if you're a bike rider or just touring down that way, it's lovely. So we're sort of not quite at the start of that. We're back a little bit closer the other way, but yeah, at our footsteps. So from the age of about 8, I think it was, I wrote down that I wanted to be a builder. Did a carpentry apprenticeship with a really good boss at the time, followed that through, went out of my own quite early, and then sort of went from carpenter to builder, and it kind of all just happened as it does, sort of overnight, not really knowing what I would be up against or, what sort of challenges or business things that I'd need to learn on the fly. So
how long ago did you start your company? When did you step out on your own?
So me and a mate of mine started the company up first, back in, that was after my first year out of my apprenticeship. So I qualified for a year, asked my boss for a pay rise. He didn't come to the party, unfortunately. So before I knew it, me and my mate were out there knocking on doors, looking for jobs and just going for it, hanging on by the seat of our pants.
Awesome.
Worked out really well. We had a really good team at the time. We got a couple of apprentices and we were killing it on fixed price rates for a couple of local builders in Ballarat at the time. And then I made the move to Melbourne, where my partner moved away for uni. So I decided to have enough of Ballarat and move down there. And then we basically, from there, I got my registration and then relocated down to Ocean Grove. So I've had my registration now for about 6 years.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit about what type of projects do you mainly do? Who's on your team? What's the structure of the business?
So mainly we do architectural new builds. So all one-off custom designs, curves, double height ceilings, all the bells and whistles, a lot of detailing, a lot of custom order stuff. We do a fair bit of work for developers down here. Recently that's quietened down a little bit due to the climate, but until that we were doing knock down the beach shack and then have, put 2 or 4 on the site and quite sort of high end sort of finishes.
Is that something that you're going to look to get into more or to do your own specs and developments? I try and do one of my own projects a year. I'm currently waiting for one of them to sell at the moment, so I'm on hold with that. But it's something that I look to do further down the track. Just got to get a bit more financial backing to pursue that into our development company that we've got. But at the moment, just happy doing the client stuff and building that sort of portfolio up. Awesome. And talk us through the structure of the team in the office and then on site across how many projects you're currently doing.
So in the office, we have our administration officer, Angie. She does 3 days a week. So she takes care of all the back end stuff, the emails, the variations, the job tracking, all those sort of things.
And are you using, what software are you using for that? Are you using Builder-Trend?
So we use Build Exact for our majority of our software. We also run through Xero accounting program, and we use we've just implemented a new app called Mondays.com, which me and Angie use just for our kind of loose ends. So we can, if she's away for 2 days or I'm away or whatever, we always know where things are at and who's been assigned to that job. So we've just only implemented that in the last, since the summit, actually, at the Gold Coast. It was one of the first things, my 90-day game plan. So I've got her, we've got Stu, who is our lead hand carpenter on site. Stu, yep. He's the guru. He's the man.
Is he on the other foot?
Yeah. He wears 2 or 3 feet each day, Stu. He takes a lot of the headaches away from me, so he's a good man.
Awesome. Have you had him do a shoey yet?
We might have to bring that up at work breakup.
Absolutely.
He takes care of all the carpenters. So we have a team of 8 carpenters over our jobs. Predominantly, a majority of our carpenters are split between 2 jobs, which are next door to each other at the moment. Both $2 million plus new builds. So he runs a team there and sort of coordinates with mainly the carpenters, but he has slowly, gradually pushed his way into doing more of the trade coordination. So he'll be looking to elevate him.
Is he involved in pricing the jobs at all?
No. He's just involved in the day-to-day, making sure the carpenters hit their deadlines. We stick to the program and educating the boys. That's his main role at the moment. Under him, we have 5 qualified carpenters and 3 apprentices.
Is that ratio like that? So more carpenter heavy as opposed to the typical sort of 2-to-1 apprentices to 1 carpenter, because you're doing a lot more high-end work?
A little bit. It depends. It sort of has organically evolved by what's come available over the years. It's sort of, guys have sort of come and gone. You know, you go through a lot of stuff to try and find the right guys. A lot of the really motivated guys want to go out and do their own thing. So it's sort of trying to keep them can be a bit tricky. In the last 12 to 18 months, 2 of our guys have gone from apprentices to qualifieds. So that's where we've sort of had a bit of an upset in our numbers. Normally, I try and run a 1-to-1 ratio.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Well, that works quite well for the stuff that we do.
Awesome. How have you grown and developed as a leader over the last couple of years?
Getting better by the day. Initially, I would be very inclined to take it all on myself and only delegate off small tasks to certain guys at risk of, them maybe stuffing it up or not getting the detail right, because I'd spend all the time with the clients or the architect. But the more I let go now, the better it's becoming. It's just the boys have been, the education's there, they're kicking goals on site, they're developing their skill set, and I'm spending more time in the office, which is what I need to be doing. So,
awesome. Yeah, work on growing the business.
Yep, 100%.
And how has what mindset shifts have you made this year?
Probably more so in the last 3 months. I've made a really conscious effort to stay in the office more. So I love getting my hands dirty. I love pulling the nail bag on. I love being out on site. That's me. I'm a problem solver. I like doing that. But the more time I spend out on site and I kind of get lost, and the more times I'm there, the more questions get asked that they don't necessarily need to ask me, the less organised we are. So, jobs will be going along great, and then all of a sudden we'll have a little bit of a lag, and it's like, okay, well, if I'd have spent that time back in the office getting organised, then that lag wouldn't be there. Therefore, the job would flow a bit quicker. So made a real conscious effort over the last probably 3 months to spend more time in the office and to organise my meetings and my client catch-ups on specific days, as opposed to being like, I'm available all the time, I'll meet you or whatever. I've just gone, well, I'm available Monday, Wednesday, Friday between 10 and 2.
It's a game changer, isn't it? Default diary structure for your week, because your biggest resource isn't time or money, it's energy.
100%. And since I've done that, I've just it's sort of actually freed up my time randomly. I don't it's just, So that's been huge for us.
What do you do in your spare time?
I try and do a lot of different things, which is probably an interesting one. So I do in the summer, I do triathlons. So I
Okay.
do a bit of swim, bike, and run.
Hmm.
Um, in the winter, I was playing football up until the last 2 years. That was Aussie rules football.
Hmm.
But I'm sort of getting a bit past that now. I like golf, anything that involves sport, basically.
Awesome.
Um, I've thrown myself in and have a red hot crack at it. So
I went golfing two the last 2 days in a row. We golfed at the #1 course in Arizona, Troon, and then we also
yeah,
golfed at the Scottsdale resort where we were staying, which was much easier course than the Troon was phenomenal. What a
yeah, you've
course.
got to be very dead-eye dick on those sort of courses.
Yeah, we lost a lot of balls in amongst cactuses and that. Had to make sure we didn't step on any
Yeah,
rattlesnakes
leave
or
them in there and take a drop, I think.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. We'll just leave it in there and I'll drop way, way up here towards the hole. So, what have been your biggest wins this year?
Biggest wins from a business point of view would be the fact that we've had the most amount of work from a cash point of view. So our limit is 5.6 million,
Hmm.
our warranty insurance, and we've basically filled up every dollar of that.
Well
So that's been
done.
a really good win for us over our three main projects. Um, we are currently pricing some projects to start early next year,
Mhm.
and they're looking upwards of $4 million plus. So we've sort of really ticked ourselves up into the next category there. So that's been a real win for
Awesome.
us.
What margin are you quoting those at?
So those margins they change varying depending on whether they're cost plus or fixed price. So fixed price, we have changed our pricing structure since joining TPV. So we're now pricing them at 22%
Awesome.
markup.
Hmm.
And for our cost plus projects, depending on the volume, so like if it's a $4 million single dwelling, providing there's not going to be too many headaches or it's reasonably well spec'd, the client does have too much involvement, they're sort of around the 15%, ideally.
Hmm.
But we've
Yep.
had to sometimes just to get them over the line, we've had to go down to 12.5. I won't go any lower than that, but that's sort of where they hit for those ones.
Yep. Gotcha.
At the moment, we are finding that it is pretty competitive down here at the moment with a slow and dip in the market. So we
Mhm.
have had to tighten the screws a little bit more than we would like to, just to ride out this sort of bit of a lull.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And how do you go about getting your work to fill your pipeline? What marketing strategies are you implementing?
So 95% of our work comes from word of mouth or repeat clients.
Hmm.
Up until just recently, I've never had a lull, never had a downturn in work. It's always been just, coming in the door sporadically, and that's been what we've dealt with. Now, that's obviously not a very good business model moving forward. So in the last, about 3 months ago, I had a chat with Matt, the coach, and we reached out to 25 local architects in the area that do specialised work that we consider our niche, just to reintroduce ourselves, introduce them to what we call it a capability statement, but I think you guys refer to it as the WOW pack.
Hmm.
Sent it out to them, let them know who we are, let them know what we're trying to do, what our goals are, how we could maybe work together in the future. We've gathered 2 or 3 leads out of that. So that's sort of been a new
Awesome.
system that we've implemented, and just a lot of sort of networking, a lot of face-to-face phone calls.
Love it. Are you in BNI or anything like that?
No.
Okay. That's a good opportunity as well if there's any local chapters near you to reach out to
Yep.
them. What were your biggest takeaways from the summit on the Gold Coast?
Um, Basically, I think probably the biggest thing that I took out of that was just being re-energized. Like
Hmm.
when I left there, I was like buzzing. I was ready just to, like, I want to get to work tomorrow and start implementing stuff. And my wife was like, just settle down, let's just finish the holiday first before you. I was like, I want to get on the emails, I'm going to do this. It's like, all the workers, it's Saturday dull, like, just settle down. Like, so that was sort of the biggest thing that I sort of gather, other than a lot of other knowledge, but that was sort of just being re-energized, ready to go, had a bit more spring in the step, talking to other builders that are in a similar position, going through the same stuff, all in different avenues. Very relatable. Everyone was so open with the knowledge and their advice and just sharing. Like from the minute I walked in the door, it was just like everyone was just like, hello, really friendly. I didn't know what to expect. You're like, oh, is it going to be, everyone's going to be looking at each other, but it was just into it. Let's go. We're all a big happy family. Let's all learn together. So that was awesome.
What tools and resources have been most impactful so far for you?
We have recently started using a QS company to do our initial pricing for our jobs. That has saved me heaps and heaps of hours of following up trades for quotes, them sending them back, they've been wrong, getting them to adjust them. So it's just given us a really good, they turn it around in sort of 7 to 10 days, depending on the job. And then it's just bang, it's there, it's all labeled from A to B, right down to Z, everything we need for that job, all there. We've got it straight away. I can go through, I can review it, I can check it off with our existing jobs or previous jobs that we've done and backtracked or back costed, sorry. So I know exactly where we're at. They're regularly doing it, so they're up with the industry standard of rates, and it means that we don't miss anything. Or if we do, they're minuscule. They're nothing. So that's been huge to save me. Like, I reckon a normal quote, I'd probably lose 40 to 50 hours of my time putting together a quote. Yep. And now I'd probably spend 10 hours on that same quote.
Awesome. I love it. And where do you want to take the business? What's possible for Avery Construction over the next 2 to 5 years? Where do you want to take it?
So in the next 12 months, well, probably in the next 3 months, we want to have a slight staff restructure. So we want to elevate our lead hand stew to a construction manager, elevate one of our qualified carpenters to lead hand. We've already put the wheels in motion with that. That was part of one of the things that I had in my 90-day plan from the summit. So I want to get that going. So we just have a bit of a restructure in the company so that I can then take a bit more time off doing my day-to-day stuff to concentrate on more of the business development side of things. We'd like to get in with a couple of the really renowned architects in the area and do some of those sort of $4+ million one-off builds.
Awesome.
And then probably in the next
get it featured on Grand Designs, or because we've had quite a few members featured on that. That'd
be something that we'd love to do. Yep, those sort of style, like those real one-off masterpieces where you sort of really put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. And then in sort of 3 to 5 year bracket, I'd like to transition into just doing our own development projects where we don't have any clients, no developers we're working for, just our own stuff where we do the design right through to handover, through to sales, all that sort of stuff, and have it all done in-house in this local area.
Absolutely. I think that's what most guys, that's sort of the goal that a lot of them head towards. And it's building the cash flow machine over here that operates well without requiring your constant oversight and input, so that you can maximize asset value over here with specs, development, second business, etc.
Yeah, that's it. That's spot on. We've sort of had that in the pipeline for the last 5 years, but I haven't sort of had the time to really kick it off and get it going as a money-making machine yet. So,
yeah. And what would you say to someone who's maybe stuck or their business isn't going as well as they want, or they're plateaued?
Reach out, like ask the questions, be a sponge, jump on TPB. Like I reckon I probably contemplated joining for 12 to 18 months before I did. If I had joined 12 to 18 months earlier, like we wouldn't be having this conversation now. I'd be off doing things, getting stuff done, be further advanced. I'd be losing less money. So I feel like it's, it's a big commitment, and you obviously got to allocate the time and the energy to get the reward out of it. But I can honestly say I have not looked back. So if anyone ever asks me if TPB would be a good fit for them, I'd say, yep, just go for it and just lock yourself in and just enjoy the ride.
Love it. I love seeing people in momentum and good people giving back. And I think that's one of the best things about our community is that a lot of people have been lifted up by others. And the more you can give back, the more other people will be willing to lift you up when, because there's someone out there who's solved the challenge that you're going through right now. And if we can shortcut the time taken to figure it out on our own by talking to them, getting their systems and processes, then it's a win for everyone.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.
So valuable.
Well, thank you for your time today, Nick. Absolute pleasure talking to you. I love seeing good things happen to good people, and great to see you in great momentum.
Awesome. No worries. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Appreciate you.